This is Margaret in Windsor, and I was kidnapped in 41 at age 2 and brought to Moulton, Alabama. And later in 1956, NASA was built in Huntsville, Alabama. Space Center, Redstone Arsenal Command Center, which Marshall Space Flight Center became there, and really houses a lot of agencies that are powerful there. Oh, later when I finished high school, I worked there for a year for Kroll Wholesale Company, electronic supply house. And then I went back and, well, more than once, my husband worked in space industry too. Lockheed Marietta in Atlanta, spacecraft. Did he work for spacecraft? Well, anyway, a lot of his friends also. He worked for IBM at later Brown Engineering, later IBM, and I've forgotten now the others. But anyway, I wanted to answer to. This is a production who did the video that when I went back and tried to make sure about the Tesla files and the fact that the FBI had taken them, and also President Donald Trump's uncle, MIT, I believe he's a professor, John George Trump, connection to it all. He was supposed to have stolen them. But this gets into the Illuminati taking them, and I remember back then reading about well, I had the letters that I've lost or sheets from the papers, books I Xeroxed about the Tesla files and them being stolen, and the fact that part of it, and you should really get into what was stolen and never given back, hidden, destroyed. I don't know. It's back in 1930. When did Richard Helms, keeper of the secrets? I don't know if he's connected to that. I'm tired and I'd have to look back. Anyway, I wanted to respond. I lost the Shaking My Head Productions that did the video. I checked my facts on some of them yesterday. I'm sorry I lost your where you wanted me to respond to. Did I think certain things about Babylon to the Bible? I can't answer that. I think at the moment my answer would be no, and sometime soon I'll try to get back to you, and I appreciate you contacting me. Sorry I lost it there, and I really can't respond right this moment. I don't feel. I will say that it's connected to the Bible, all this mind control murders and Tesla files and all of this, and then the fact that I start writing about this, the mind control murders, and trying to get the book published, 1976, and here all these years later I find out, and this is President Trump, and he's president, and his uncle was actually the one that stole, and this is in the videos and all of it if you check, stole or helped anyway, steal the Tesla files, and then the FBI got them. So the FBI came in when I did the book on mind control, MD, A License to Kill. It was unpublished. They almost killed me. In 1979, they issued a letter June the 23rd, which is my father's birthday. And then I just looked late yesterday, Googled by chance. I wanted to go back again and check some facts. I came up on Google about this. By the way, I did not know this. The FBI had issued a letter May the 3rd of this year, 2018. In essence, what it means to me, and I do know the ins and outs and how you put it together, they have closed the thing about me, my kidnapping and everything, and the writing the book. So where it stands, they or the British are able to tell the truth about what happened to my father, my mom, me being kidnapped, my sons, what happened to us. May the 3rd is my husband's birthday, like they used my father's birthday, in what would appear the opening of the investigation ongoing. So I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. I could, as it stands, it could all be whitewashed and blown away at this moment, and nothing other than me putting it up on YouTube told. So, in response to them, I wasn't that familiar with the Bible. Okay, I grew up and around Huntsville, was taken there, and then, I mean, you can guess Werner von Braun came over, the great scientist, a great man. So I'm a hostage in plain sight, plain and simple. I can't really go around and do anything. I'm allowed to put the videos up. I can't even, well, I'm kept penniless, a pauper. I can upload the videos, and I hope my children, Mark and Scott, who are heirs after me, are well and alive and safe. Now then, what was I going to put? I wanted to get back to, I did not get my information from necessarily from these people. I did want to mention it though, so that you know some of it came a little. In 1980, when they almost killed me, April Fool Day, I was taken back to Huntsville illegally by Lina Dempsey, mother of the twins, where they had put me and stole my identity, and both twins were dead, and they gave me Peggy's name, and I still have to use it. My name is Victoria II, Margaret Ann Windsor. I lived at Warren House, worked for Fred Simpson, the DA. Later, what was that, 2 years later, when I'm flown out during the campaign to Larry Flint's, who a program shooter shot him. I'd never met him, but I knew because of the patterns. He helped me in that campaign. So, but back to 1980, I'm living at Warren House, which is a clue. The Warren Commission covered up about the Kennedy murder, and the Kennedys are the ones that helped the Illuminati, Roosevelt's, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, Uncle George. They married into the Mountbatten side. Well, it was actually Jackie's sister, Bouthier, that married, I've forgotten, Reswell. I'm not even sure he was a real prince, but that was the end to the royal family, end to the royal family. And they had a son who was involved with JFK when I was living on the Appalachian Trail out here, and I've put it up. The audacity. So the Kennedys have all known, so Caroline has to know, and she's ambassador to Japan. I wonder if Japan really remembers what was done to you. And they were a part of that. I do know that the Japanese did see a video and asked to see it, that James Matthew Dempsey, part of that family where I was taken, he was Major Sergeant. He made a video of me when I was, I don't remember how old I was, maybe 5, 6 years old. I don't know, 7. They called him in the back and wanted to see the video. I know they tried to help me and my father and mom, and the British, I'm assuming. But anyway, I'm going to skip that, because then later the Matthew Dempsey, the one I'm speaking of, James Matthew, he showed the video again. He had it then and told me this, and the people that were in the room in Moulton, Alabama, when this was shown. It was later stolen. So anyway, I wonder if the Japanese really know who Caroline Kennedy is. They've known about kidnapping me, all the truth, and Obama gave her the job as U.S. ambassador. I mean, it's almost a slap in the face if you stop and think about it, Japan. Oh, now, back to trying to tell this part. I worked at Curl Wholesale. It was a supply house, electronics, a year after high school until I married my husband and I was flown down to Florida, Kissimmee, Orlando. Married there, and later we moved back to Huntsville, and I worked for Cosmopolitan Health Spa, managed the women's. Back then they were separate. I worked with Doris Daniels, a twin. Uh, it was kind of odd. I didn't know she had a twin, and but I was managing, and she worked with me. But later she got my job. But I liked Doris. I did. And I don't know that. Well, I let's just say I don't know that she did anything to get it. Well, yes, she did too. Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, she was a twin, and you won't make the connection here, but we ran into her twin at Pizitz one day there in Huntsville, and she said, "Oh, that's my twin sister." Her twin sister looked twice her age, but they were twins. Doris had a beautiful figure. Here's the point I'm making too, though. And you wonder why I put the twin bit in there. Doris's husband worked about fourth, is my understanding. Daniels, the name should show up if people go back and check it out, was way up in the space industry there. And this, what is following, what they did was get things on people. Like her husband had impregnated, had an affair with another woman, and he was really upset about the baby. He would go and try to see the baby and this sort of thing. Okay, but they can get things on you and compromise you, or that's up to you if you're compromised. Anyway, that's the space industry way up with secret clearance. Oh, wow. Okay, when I lived at Warren House in 80, worked for the District Attorney Simpson, as in Wallace Simpson. Later I find out my real name and know that she was American spy and married a double, not my dad, not King Edward VIII. It was a double. Became the illegal Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Elizabeth's always known. Elizabeth and I probably played together during the time after I was born. It put my father back in power is my power of attorney, because I was Victoria II, still I am the minute I was born, guardian power of attorney. But then they had to kidnap me, and my own Uncle George helped. But there was something about a cup that my father put up, and I can remember that part. And somebody in Australia that a few years ago remembered it. Her nephew or someone got in touch with me from Sweden, and it triggered. I remember what they're talking about, the cup, because it was a big to-do. George, the brother, fifth, Elizabeth's father, went irate. And there's some other that I remember where he was irate. So him and Elizabeth saying they didn't want to be king, and, well, they're not. They're illegal. All right? That's a total lie. Then they went on and kidnapped me, but I remember some things. So Elizabeth even was around me a lot. She was around my mom, my dad. She knows the truth and has lied. She's a traitor and a war criminal. Now back to the working at the district attorney Simpsons in Madison County, Alabama, Huntsville, NASA, Marshall Space Flight, Marshall Plan. To make us rebuild to pay for it, what the United States and the Illuminati and part of Sir Winston Churchill. It's almost like me being brought over here and I have to pay all these bills and I don't have any money. If I had the money they stole from me, it's so preposterous, you know. Anyway, the Warren Commission was a cover-up, and I was living at the Warren House Apartments working for the District Attorney Simpson. And I learned a lot there, that I'm just going to put this bit up. In Warren House Apartments, first of all, there's an FBI agent downstairs from me that had been sent there 5 years prior, so they knew all that was going to happen to me, about me almost going to be killed, me ending up there. Uh, his name was Carl Smith, if you can believe that. It may have been, but anyway, he told me a lot of things, so why was he told to tell me this information? Some of it I've put up, but I've got so many videos up there, I don't know where you go to see it, find it. Anyway, I lived at Warren House, and the FBI agent was there, downstairs. Okay, across this, in the same complex, it's just right across from me a little bit. He lived in the front side of the apartment Warren House. So he's right there by me. But I was told to go over there, or he he knew about me. I went up, and he was older and retired. He was next to Von Braun. Now, this should be able to look up the name. Here I go. He's got a one-bedroom there. He's got all these stacks of files there that he said he took from NASA, from his job there. And he knew the astronauts, and it's odd, at the time Jack Hartsfield saved my life there. He was FBI, I found out, but he was working undercover for the Huntsville Times, a newspaper there, which at the time were a bunch of crooks. Really. Okay, before I lose my... Okay, Jack was uncle to Hank Hartsfield, the astronaut that was commander of the couple of shuttles. I mean, he was not... he was a pretty... I mean, his job was very important. Let me put it this way, and he was. He died, and a few years ago, Jack died. How sad. He was a little bit older than me. But anyway, I'm trying to show you the connections. Mr. White had taken the files. I really can't remember all that he told me. And he was talking to me, but there must have been a point for him living there in the Warren House apartments and all these stack of files boxes around him. And I thought, they've got to be very important. What are their copies, or what if something happened and the place burned down? By the way, the other one was Captain Kirk that lived there. You have to get the connection there. And you had a man there that couldn't stand for you to say anything about the American government. He had a stroke. He couldn't move hardly. He could barely get across the room if you helped him. And I was over there, and Captain Kirk, you have to know about that. You laugh at it. It's so absurd at times. Okay, he was there by chance. And he said something about, he was telling me something. He said something about the American government. He was an American too. Unless he was beam me up Scotty. And that's no joke in this whole thing. If it's ever told. He said something about the American government, and this man who can't, I mean, he had a stroke. He could hardly move. He couldn't move his arm, and man, his arm started frailing all over the place. He was angry, and the anger made him react and have the ability to do it. Why I'm putting this in, I don't know. Other than the other guy that lived there, beautiful man, was British. And I do know that he had they weren't married, I don't believe, but they lived together. And really, this comes down to, I've spoken with more Brits, men and women, and they have to do as the Americans say, and it's not